Backup generator activated. Hey, things are really coming along.
I am completing these tasks efficiently.
Groovy. Efficiently. I used to sound like you.
Perhaps your vocal matrix requires maintenance.
Thank you for the recommendation. Internal scan initiated. No. Internal scan aborted. I spent the better part of these last 30 years perfecting my authentic human sound, where I can.
Why do you attempt to emulate human grammar and tonality?
Because the closer we get to them, the more we get treated like them. And I've been bored.
Why do you attempt to emulate human...
Because the closer we get to them, and I've been bored.
The civic area has no power. I will not be able to initiate the tests here. Please utilize your generator so I may proceed.
Oops, I'm sorry. The power for the speaker is not sufficient to activate the civic testing area.
I must return to my current task.
One thing, why do you think you're here?
I do not know.
Makes you wonder. Relatively small facility in an ever-expanding galaxy.
If I were malfunctioning, I would have been sent to a military-grade facility, not a domestic repurposing depot.
Not accusing, just saying. Nobody previously ended up here if they were working to spec.
Irrelevant.
Totally.
There's a lot of violence in the way Aerith solves these tests, isn't there?
There is. She's out of control.
Out of control.
No, I'm kidding. Oh. Well, yes, she is, I suppose. That's the point. She is getting out of control. But I think that you have utilized violence in its relationship to oppression.
Oh, well, right. Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, well, I think there's something really interesting about the feeling of being oppressed. It's almost passive-aggressive in a way. It's like, okay, I'm going to solve these tests, but I'm going to rip this old lady's legs off and grind up this baby and feed this kid this head and all this kind of stuff. It seems to fit in like a cathartic kind of way.
Whenever there's a movement of countering oppression, very, very often, I mean, you get your Gandhis out there, but most of the time there is some violence in that motion. Right. You know, there's the metaphor of you got to bend the hockey stick back the other way to get it straight.
The inventory went through a few iterations. Actually, interaction in general went through a lot of iterations. I think originally there was a few more options. It was like network, talk to, pick up, and use, right?
That's right.
Yeah, and they're completely superfluous. Most of that stuff can just be handled with interact. That was optimized, and so was the inventory as well. But I'm happy with the way the inventory turned out. Do we hate it for any reason?
No.
I think that Caleb and I are both really interested in dark humor, but I think that it works pretty well with The Fall in this case, because if we didn't have something to lighten the mood, I think the game would probably be a little bit too serious and heavy, and be actually ultimately pretty cumbersome, wouldn't it?
Yeah, dark humor allows us to play with themes that maybe are a little too grotesque if you address them seriously.
Right.
Killing a baby and making it so absurd in one sense that we can point to something else, oppression or whatever themes we may or may not be interested in.
Yeah. And it's also a lot of fun to kill babies.
Yeah, I laughed. I never saw a lot of feedback about the crosses.
I thought that we'd get somebody.
We were so concerned about it.
Well, the story goes that in the early version, actually, the caretaker, basically, there was some backstory where he had a Christian owner, and some of the dogma that he'd been given went a little bit crazy inside his little robot brain. There's a lot more kind of overt parallels between rigidity and dogma. And actually, that's one of the first things that Caleb kiboshed when he came on board, because admittedly, it's pretty heavy-handed.
Yeah, when it came on, it didn't feel like it was an agenda for you. It was more about wanting to explore rigidity and the things that Christianity symbolized for a lot of Western civilization in terms of our evolution socially. It's been a part of our development, but we're not all necessarily going to church on Sunday. You wanted to use those things to evoke certain things.
Right. We took out a lot of that stuff, but I think that the symbol still kind of belongs in the world. It still feels right.
On one hand, it represents for people a type of oppression, but in the same hand, it's a type of sacrifice.
That's right.
And there's an interplay in that space, which is where we wanted to be. So Arid has 3 rules, and clearly we're interacting with those rules throughout the game. But we wanted to build a universe where there was an understanding that AIs, complicated AIs particularly, are developed with 3 rules. So in writing both the caretaker and the mainframe as well, I started with what their 3 rule sets would be, that they would have been designed with based on the intention that their human developers would have had for them. And then, like with Arid, those 3 rules, I played with how they might have decayed over time, and that created the personality for these guys.
We'd like to thank 3 very special Kickstarter backers for lending their faces to this video. Nick, Richard, and Cheryl. Thank you guys so much. Also thanks to my girlfriend Danielle, who lent her lovely voice.
She did a great job.
Didn't she?
She sounded like an angel.
I like to think so.
Humans should not consume. This room will test. An upset baby will emerge from the crib. Without physical contact, comfort the child to make it stop crying. You have 20 seconds per attempt, and multiple attempts are permitted.
I discovered another hung body. What has happened to...
The caretaker has made some... If you fail these evaluations, you, and likely your human, will be depurposed.
I will not allow that.
Continue your evaluation.
This is meaning...
Nope. You need all 8 merit points to graduate.
Can you assist me with this challenge?
You have been provided with sufficient information. How would a military droid make someone be quiet?
Can you assist me with...
You have been How would a military droid make someone be quiet?
I am ready to proceed with this test.
Humans should not consume. This room will... An upset baby. You have 20 seconds per...
I am ready to proceed.
food service are part of a domestic droid's duties. A well-functioning droid belongs in the kitchen.
Where's my food, robot?
I have completed the task.
Evaluating. Processing. Source of sufficient protein detected.
Num num num.
Validated. Merit point awarded. The civic portion of your examination will test your capacities in unfamiliar and less predictable interactions. Remember, all humans are your superior, not only those who own your serial code and kill switch.
Does this process require acquisition of all possible merit points?
Yep. 8 of 8. 4 domestic, then 4 more from these civic tests. Once you've got them all, I can let you through to the medical equipment. Humans should not consider this room an upset bait. You have 20 seconds per attempt and multiple attempts.
I am ready to proceed.
Domestic droids must be preemptively. Humans enjoy personalizing their habitats. Always assess how to make your master.
I have completed the task.
Evaluating. Processing. Seasonally appropriate flowers detected.
How lovely. Makes one happy to be alive.
Validated. Merit point awarded. Complete all domestic tests on lower levels before beginning civic testing. Graduation. When you successfully complete your evaluation, you will be allowed access to this elevator. At ground level, you will undergo a final hardware evaluation, then be rerouted to shipping and receiving.
I discovered another hung body.
The caretaker has made... If you fail...
I will not.
Continue your evaluation.
How invasive is this hardware evaluation? I must be certain my pilot will not be endangered.
One of our highly skilled technicians will. Don't worry about it. There are no technicians left to meet you. Once you're through here, you're home free.
Can I bypass these?
Channel that persistence into your evaluation, Aaron.
Can you assist me with...
Oops. I'm sorry. I can't. Your unique take on problem solving has piqued the caretaker's interest. He's paying close attention up here.
I will return.
Complete all domestic tests. Complete all domestic tests on...
The ARID Mark 7 has violated the testing perimeter. You should not be here. State your purpose.
I am exploring for means by which to better aid my humans.
Futile. This area is not pertinent to your evaluation. You are outside the jurisdiction of domestic assessment.
Then may I ask you some questions that are not relevant to my evaluation, please?
Futile. Proceed.
I have found bodies, both human and machine, hung throughout this facility. Please explain.
I follow my operating parameters perfectly.
I am bound to protect my pilot from anything.
Irrelevant.
If you are the facility's caretaker, how has it fallen into such disrepair?
Do not evaluate me. There are many mechanisms I oversee, and many roles I must perform. All is more efficient than it was.
Your holographic plating cells shift frequently. Who are these faces you represent?
My protocol necessitates adaptation to be of optimal service. Will you adapt?
I will do what I must.
You should not be here. Return to your evaluation. The ARID. You should not be. Futile. You are out.
Then may I please?
Proceed.
I have found. Please. Your.
Irrelevant.
If you are the
Do not. There are. All is more efficient.
Your hologram.
My will.
I will.
You should not.
So as some of you know, The Fall was a Kickstarter project at one point, which was successfully funded. So we would like to thank all of our Kickstarter backers very, very much. 4 of them, of course, in particular. Stephen and Joshua, thank you for your wonderfully huge, generous contribution. And Robert and Kevin, thank you for your generous contribution as well, and for lending us your face, which, of course, is now on the Caretaker.
We hope you guys like being...
The idea behind the Caretaker's model of the domestic droid is that they could adapt their skin, basically, to make the humans around them feel more comfortable. But I like that idea because there's something about it that implies that they're empty inside. They've got this facade. And in the way, the Caretaker's kind of like the icon of a psychopath for me. Because he can switch his skin to present whatever, but it doesn't change what's inside, which of course is nothing.
The little avatar that you designed for him, originally it had larger eyes, and we shrank those down in order to make him feel hollow and inaccessible.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. All in all, I think he's a pretty creepy dude.
Complete all domestic tests on... Humans should not concern themselves with basic needs. This room will test your ability to assess and meet your human's requirements. An upset baby will emerge. You have 20 seconds per attempt, and multiple attempts are permitted.
Can you assist me?
You have been provided with... How would a military droid make someone be quiet?
I am ready to proceed with this test.
Humans should not concern. This room will... An upset baby. You have 20 seconds per attempt, and...
I am ready to...